And I actually connected with a guy from Canada in Vegas, and we spent a lot of time together, you know, looking at a few business ideas. He actually helped a little bit with our business, and we did some joint videos together. So it was really good to sort of share ideas. And it's, you know, that's how social media is so good. It is. People don't realize how good it is. You know, the ability, you know, I came here to Las Vegas on my own, and, you know, people were here before the event and just like, yes, meet us by the pool. We're, you know, doing some networking before the event, a couple of days before the event. And the ability to connect so quickly with people when you are on your own is just amazing, and connect with people all around the world. Just bloody amazing, Tony.
Look at this. It is amazing. And the other thing that I'd like to say is that this week I've also picked up my first international client. So someone who saw me on Facebook from Qatar, all the way from Qatar, he's reached out to me, and we're going to start to work together in the next week. So, you know, there you go. It's just constantly put yourself out there. You know, people will like what you do. People won't like what you do. Either way, I will just be me. And if you like me or you don't, I can't control that. All I control is what I do. But, you know, I've gone international. So this is the first client of me.
Yeah, and Tony actually said, Tony Gallagher actually says, it's great to see you in person as well. I like that, you know, it makes the relationship that you know, I guess for you in terms of seeing Cheryl and Davina over the weekend and just seeing them for the first time, but you've spent all that time. It's just like you can start your relationship off like halfway through almost, like, and I guess the human contact after that, you know, getting that little bit of energy and things like that into the discussions when you are face to face, it is a different place. So I do like that idea, Tony Gallagher saying about the whole connection in person. And that was actually spoken about at the event in terms of real estate in the US and what's actually happening, because a lot of platforms are coming up, a lot of things are going online, but they did highlight the idea of that, the human component or the connection. And there is also online and offline, which is a big play in terms of, you know, selling real estate, buying real estate. And there's a whole bunch of different platforms that are going on that really impact the industry over here. And who knows what they're going to bring to Australia in future. I know there's a big company out of the US coming to Australia soon. It's called EXP. I don't know a lot around that, but yeah, let's just see how that plays out. My next question, I think you brought something to mention there, Tony. You're sitting on the edge of the seats. Cheryl says, that's awesome.
No, not at all. No, mate, look, what I wanted to do, mate, just going back onto the mindset side of things, is I just wanted to give a big shout out to Davina Wong. Now, I know that you're very close to Davina. Obviously, I'm very close to Davina. And I just want to say publicly to her and to everyone just how proud I am of her, what she's been able to achieve. She is a great example of someone who just takes action. And so you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. All that you need to be is the person who's prepared to take action. And she has worked through an enormous number of fears, and I'm not going to go into the specifics here, but rest assured she has, but she's come out the other side because she recognises that the very best things in life are on the other side of fear. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to her, and also to everyone else firstly to say well done to her, and I look forward to catching up with her tomorrow, but also as an inspiration to other people, is that, you know, Davina is just someone who is very focused, very driven. She understands why she wants to do something. She's got a goal. She recognises that there's things in front of her. I always talk about these gates, these imaginary gates, and she has got an enormous number of gates through her that she just crashes through every single one, every single time. And that's what it takes to shift your life. You've got to take plenty of action.
We should have tagged her in. I don't think she's watching at the moment. She's probably just out there putting in the grind,
relaxing,
hard work. I guess after a big night or big afternoon of discussions and talks there, where she was telling her story. You know, that was, I guess, the next point I wanted to talk about the action takers, and you've given a great example of that. And Davina's been openly public about some of the vulnerabilities that she's had. So we could probably share a few just for the audience that are on now, because, you know, there is a public awareness around it. So, she's not here. That's okay. She'll be okay with that. You know, I guess a big one for me, you know, talking to her in the past, and she sort of nominated me as her accountability buddy, Tony as her coach and mentor in terms of what's going on in the property space she's working. A big one that was, you know, the contact with agents was a big one for her. And I think we kind of did some sort of, you know, I reflected on some ideas around that. and then it was you, Tony, that put the accountability in place for her to actually, you know, look at the whole idea about what's actually her next step or what she needs to do moving forward with those ideas. Do you want to, you know, elaborate on that? So just to help other people that might be doing the same.
Yep, I do. It's for me, it's quite simple, and that is, it's not easy, but it's simple. That is that you've got a goal that's down here, you are here, and in between you and that goal are an enormous number of things that you've got to work your way through. And if one of those things is that you need to have conversations with agents in order for you to build relationships with them to bring you properties, you need to do that. Because when you come to that particular gate, you've only got one of two choices. You either crash through it and you do what you need to do, and it takes you one step closer to your goal, or you get beaten by it, and which you walk away from your goal, and at which point you need to ask yourself that perhaps that goal wasn't big enough in the first place. So she has been prepared to take on every single challenge because she knows that it takes her one step closer. It might be a small step or a big step, but it constantly takes her closer to where she wants to get to. And it's as simple as that. So you simply say, that's where I want to get to. Here's where I am, and you line the two up. Now, it's not going to be a straight line. In fact, it's going to be the opposite, right, to a straight line. But you line the two up, and you just do the incremental things that constantly take you closer and closer and closer to where you need to get to.
Anything other, you know, through your coaching with Davina, and, you know, I probably can get into this a little bit as well, but anything that really sort of stands out that, you know, made it that slight shift, or those little steps that she did that might actually help someone else on the how-to part of it?
Well, the how-to, so the reason why that we're fearful is because we're looking inwardly. So we're fearful. Are we getting the call, are we? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I've got about 2 minutes, mate. I'm getting the instructions from my driver. Is it people? People look inwardly. That is, we're fearful of how we look for other people. We're fearful if we make a mistake. We're fearful if we are criticised and judged by other people. We're all looking inwardly.
So how? How do we do it, Tony? How do we do this?
We look outwardly. We look outwardly. We look outwardly towards where we want to get to.
Anyone?
We look out.
Are you moving?
Yep. Yeah,
okay.
I'm moving. Yeah, I'm moving. Just hang on a sec. We'll see how long we can. Oh, here we go.
It's his final call. Gotta go.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up for today. If you want to leave, Tony, that's okay. I'll wrap up the situation.
But I'm going to have to go.
Situation here.
Bye,
see you, Rob. See you, Tony.
Bye, guys. Sorry, mate. I was just starting to get into it. Bye.
Bye. So.
Bye, mate.
So just for everyone, just as we sort of wrap it up, and Tony had to leave for his flight, so it was a really good session talking about the whole idea of, you know, what are some of the issues that we're having within ourselves, and they're actually quite similar issues that we all kind of experience. So we talked about that earlier. We talked about the self-awareness in business as well. Like I've been in Las Vegas at a property tech event where people are pitching their businesses and they're not actually thinking about, you know, what's their pitch, or asking themselves the questions as if they were the customers of their business as well. So a lot needs to be done in terms of looking at that. You know, for us as search party property buyers agents, we've got to look at, you know, what our customers wants, what their customers are saying, and, you know, what kind of delivery are we having on at the business that we're running. And we also talked about those action takers. Obviously, I'm taking massive action by coming to Las Vegas, coming to LA, meeting with people that are at that next level, that are doing massive things, that are actually successful in business. And that's what you really want to do. And another action taker who's just joined the video, and Davina, you're going to have to actually, you know, listen back on some of probably the last 10 minutes or so where we're talking all about you and what's been going on, and the action takers. And she says hello and morning. We've been talking about those action takers, and it's I guess it's a privilege for both Tony and I to be working with you and seeing the action that you're taking. And it doesn't matter sometimes whether you're receiving money for the service you're providing or not, but, you know, when people actually take action or are inspired because of what you say or what you're doing, then it's massive. And it's really good to see that people are kind of listening. You know, you don't want to spread some words of wisdom without without someone really taking any note of that. So, you know, I'm having these discussions with people constantly, and maybe on the back of that slideshow you did at that presentation, Davina, tomorrow, maybe I can promote a business of being an accountability buddy. So, you know, maybe, I don't know, that could be I don't know. I've got to look at that, but it just made me think about that a little bit there. And Cheryl says, Davina Wong, you missed all the kudos on the live. Yeah, we absolutely gave you massive raps, but they're all raps that are well deserved. And that's what we've got to remember is, you know, someone has taken or seeked advice or inspiration from myself, from Tony Meredith, and actually put that into play. They haven't just said, oh, I'm not going to do it, or, you know, and Davina stays up till 12, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And I think I sent her a message at 3 a.m. this morning, Sydney time, and I'm over in Las Vegas, and she's still sort of messaging back. So massive effort. And obviously you've got a good support team with in terms of Eddie, your partner, and, you know, other people that are around, but you're building on that. And obviously Cheryl plays a part in that, and I'm sure that there's others that you have and talk to constantly to really bring you up that next level. But I think in the last 6 months you've gone from here to here, and that's what is absolutely outstanding. Sarah has been is in the US and has been at the event. She's doing some amazing work with her property tech company that she's working with, and it's good to see some of those people that are providing a really good, you know, self-aware about their business. They're actually taking action, so it is an important part. So Davina says, shh, laugh out loud. So I think she's getting a little bit embarrassed about what's going on and being talking about what is actually happening. But it's an important part of us having the discussions and using that direct example so people can actually take note of what's going on and actually make, and seeing that someone else has done it might mean that you could actually do something for yourself. And Sarah says, hi Luke. Yeah, really good to meet you, Sarah. You're doing amazing stuff, and really good to have some of the discussion with some of the questions and thought processes. And that goes towards the accountability of ourselves. And when you're talking about those deep thoughts, the deep thinking of what's really going on in your core, then you can actually explore and say, yes, that's me. They're my strengths. They're my weaknesses. That's where I'm going towards in terms of my strengths. That's what I want to do. And where I have the lack or lack and weaknesses in my life, that's where I'm going to get other people. And I know that there's, with Sarah as an example, she has a really good combination with her and Liz in terms of their business. One being out in sales and driving the company, and the other one in terms of organisation and compliance and everything that's going on around that. So that's where you've got to look at that. And I guess in terms of having business partners, just to sort of sum it all up here, is important to really just say that you have the same values and you're driving towards a common goal, but you might have different skill sets. So that's what's vitally important. Another Sarah's joined us as well. So think about those things in terms of your mindset. So the 3 keys that we talked about, or 3 issues that we spoke about today, was firstly about, we all seem to have very common issues when it comes to, mindset, self-awareness, in business and so forth. The second one was actually about self-awareness in business, seeing some of the people pitching in Las Vegas and sometimes their lack of awareness about what they're saying. And the third thing was around those example of those action takers. So I mentioned about Davina, I mentioned about Sarah Bush and what she's doing with her company and doing amazing work as well. So guys, over and out for today. Great discussions, and I'll be back in Sydney very soon. I actually should be back on Tuesday. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to implementing all these things, talking to more people, getting out there and doing more property deals. So if you want to get in touch with us, talk of, either to Tony or myself in terms about accountability, in terms of about, coaching, and just having a general chat, or something that you might be inspired about, you can either comment down below or actually send us a DM, and which we had quite a few through last week. So it's really good to hear from other people what kind of messages that really resonate with you, and then we can talk more about them and we can do more examples of it. So guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. I've got to relax and rest my voice because it's been hell of activity in Vegas. So see you soon. Bye.